I'm going to start a new project. I've been using React for a few years. I've had some experience with Vue and Svelte. I've decided my next project will be with Nuxt. I understand Nuxt is a layer upon Vue, and I never feel that I fully understand a framework until I can set it up from scratch, build, and write my first test. I have a lot to learn. I hope maybe you'll watch along and learn with me. I've chosen Nuxt for this new project instead of React or Svelte. I feel Svelte may take a while to mature. Maybe it's already mature and I'm not aware. React, I'm kind of getting tired of it. I don't like using Babel and I don't like using Jest. So actually, I have a React project where I've torn all that stuff out and I've used vitest and vite. Now, setting up this project with Nuxt, I anticipate I'm going to have to learn how functions run in the back end, how to write APIs that run in that back end in the server side. I want to become familiar with how the front end is rendered, how to render a server, how to do server side rendering and static HTML pages while also having some interactivity. Storybook is new to me, and I think that that's maybe idiosyncratic for the Nuxt environment. And so rather than use Cypress, I'm going to try Storybook. Let's begin. It's important to know that I have followed the instructions here at the Nuxt.com documents, the installation document, and then we'll jump over to the testing information. And so the install begins with this line of code right here. I've decided to use PNPM rather than NPM or Yarn. Of course, I've used NPM for many years. And when I discovered Yarn, I really liked it because it seemed faster. I liked that it combined a lot of the modules without having to replicate them throughout my system many, many times for many, many projects. I started to lose track of Yarn when they changed versions, Yarn version Berry, and all of that overhead. They also tried. Well, I liked the interactive update as well. So actually, going back to NPM for a while, I found NPM outdated was kind of frustrating, but I did appreciate that NPM developed tools for workspaces. I loved the Yarn workspaces. I've used NPM now for workspaces and it's quite powerful. I'm very interested to learn more about PNPM and I hope it's an advancement or an enhancement on the previous tools. I'm going to call this the range. That's my project name. And let's see what happens. Okay, it's asking me to use which package manager. It looks like Core Pack is doing some work and modules are being installed. Nuxt prepare, that's a post install hook. And yes, I will initialize a Git repository. And there we go. So I can say, let's say Git status, not a Git repository yet. Oh, because I'm not in the folder. So let's jump into the folder and I'll say Git status. And it looks like I've got some untracked files. I'm not going to commit this code until I know that it can build. I presume it will, but let's have a look around here. We've got some files here. Jump into the, okay, so a tsconfig, a README file with a bunch of info, a lock file, a package JSON. Let's change the name of the package to the range. Type module, okay, private true, good. Some scripts and some basic dependencies. I like to lock my versions so that I'm very clear about which versions are in use and that I can be very deliberate about updating them. So I'm going to run PNPM install. I have a little alias set up in this environment. And look at that. So I was not aware that I was using 3.1, 3.2, and now I am aware. That's why I like using deliberate. I'm very deliberate about the versions I use. So Vue, I'm not sure which version. I'll come back to this later. For now, I'm okay with the latest versions of Vue and Vue Router. Looking through the other files that were set up, and it looks like there's a server area here. Oh, right. Nuxt is a full stack environment, so you can have server functions as well as a browser facing front end that gets bundled and served into a browser. All right, let's go back to those scripts and let's confirm that it will build. So if I run Nuxt build, if this succeeds, I will run the dev script. And if that succeeds, I'm going to commit this code. All right. Localhost 3000. Welcome to Nuxt. All right. I'm going to commit this. I'll say initialize project. Commit that. Publish the branch as a private repo. Now I'm going to jump down to the testing page and grab this line of code because we're going to install some modules, namely some dev dependencies, Nuxt test utils, vitest, Vue test utils, happy DOM, which I understand is a runtime, and Playwright Core. I've never used Playwright Core. I'm more used to Cypress. Maybe Playwright is like Cypress. So I notice these modules were installed. Again, I'm going to just be very deliberate about this is me just being a little bit obsessive compulsive about the versions that I use in my build. Now, if I add a script to this, let's go test and run vitest, then I should be able to say PNPM test, and it fails because there are no tests found. Great. Let's continue our setup of vitest for Nuxt. So in the Nuxt config file, let's go have a look at that. Oh, I see. So I can grab the modules line and put it right there and make sure that there's a comma. Let's create a vitest file, vitest.config.ts. I understand that now I can create a test file, and I'll stick to this naming convention. Let's create a new folder for tests. New file, my file, Nuxt test.ts. And now if I run tests, it'll find the test file and pass. And there we go. One test has passed. Let's actually do a proper test. So we'll go it returns true. Oop. There we go. Expect true to be true. And I think I can grab expect from the vitest library and it to be should be camel case. Oh, right. So I'm used to having a describe instead of the test block. So I'm just going to change that because I kind of like that. I'll say describe expect it. And there we go. The first test has passed. I now have testing configured for my app, and I'll commit this code. I'll say vitest configured and working. Commit. Thank you for watching. If you're interested, somewhere on the screen right now, there will be a follow-up video, the next video, where I think I will try to make a storybook test and learn what the heck Storybook is. Enjoy.